I would pay somebody money to just sit there and scratch my back and fall asleep to it. Are we recording?
Yeah.
This bitch.
Dreamlands. I just kind of had an idea for an episode right now, and I thought we should talk about dreams.
Oh yeah, with that plane crashing.
And you being like.
Some bitches do, this bitch won't. Get up in my squishy sandwich without a quote. Ain't no need to flex, you ain't even in my zone. You be trying to go, we already on the road. Don't kiss no toes, I be sitting on my throne. Don't multitask, you already on hold. Know when to fold, this here is gold. Scraping off the road.
In the aviation field.
So this is the things, like ever since so again, I talk about this all the time, but I was diagnosed with HIV in 2011. And the moment I started medication, I started having very vivid dreams, and it would, so it would like range from like a cricket from a distance jumping towards me and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then finally just jumping on my face, and I just wake up in a panic.
Right.
To like little things, like it got so bad to the point where like I would come to work and swear that I had a conversation with an employee about something, and they were like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I was dreaming in color. Mm-hmm. Like all of my senses were being like engaged.
Some people will call it a spiritual awakening.
Girl, it must have been because I was going to work saying like, this bitch tried it with me yesterday, blah, 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 blah. She had gave me attitude. And they were like,
scratch that. Meanwhile, Patty Cakes was drugged up.
they were like, Susan was off yesterday. And I'm like, no, she weren't. I was just talking to her. And I was like, ooh, girl, I gave me a dream. So I recently had a dream that like I was like actually, and I hate to talk about these things because God forbid it happens, but I was in a plane crash and like I felt everything from like the wind blowing to like things just flying in the air, like liquid from like water, like from like cups of like, you know, whatever, like just hitting my face and like,
you know, his husband sneezing on him while he's sleeping.
Probably like snoring on me or something, because like he sleeps on my chest. But you know, it was just like for me to have such a weird dream, and we talked about this because you were like, let's dig into I actually grabbed your dream book.
I sat down. Yeah, I walked over and you were reading my dream book that I have to interpret how to interpret dreams.
Yeah, and he was like, well, what? And so we basically had like a therapy session.
I was like, tell me a little bit more about it.
That's right.
I crossed my legs, sat on the armchair. He sat on the couch.
Literally, I like sat on the couch. I felt like I was laying down, but
I simply asked. I was like, you know, because so when we have dreams, it's not always related to directly like what you visually see. Sometimes you have to focus in on the emotion that's being displayed, maybe by yourself or the other person you're dreaming about, or even an animal. And so in this case, you said you were super anxious.
Yeah. You're like, how did you feel when the plane was going down? And I was like, at peace, but just very anxious. Like I wasn't like fearful of like what was to come. It was more
kind of like a frog in hot water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know, well, what is going on in your life right now that may make you feel that?
Girl, everything
emotion?
in the fucking kitchen sink.
And he went down the kitchen list. And I was like, well.
Squishee Sandwich, master's degree, work, marriage, animals. Traveling, taxes are due, taxes are due, taxes are due,
exactly.
taxes are due.
Oh, yeah, about that. I made pretty folders with labels on them, and they're just sitting on my desk.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, like, I just have a lot of shit going on. It's funny because I do know that, like, dreams can also be, like, your subconscious mind trying to make sense of shit.
Processing.
Yeah, and, like, I tend to forget that because it's like, girl, if you're going to process it, and we have a dream, like, me sitting down at, like, with a customer service representative, like just hashing out the dream. Like, does it have to be so fucking real? Like me getting into a car crash or a cricket getting fucking bigger and eating me like something off of Starship Troopers? Like, I don't have time for that.
Right.
Because then I have nightmares. I get scared. And then I'm like, the negative side of that is I become an insomniac. Like I literally am up at night, sometimes afraid to go to sleep because I'm like, bitch, am I going to dream again? Because I can't take it.
I know that feeling, especially like after getting back from deployment. Like I'd have some really weird dreams about getting hit with IEDs or we're like on convoys. I remember waking up and hearing helicopters out my window. Like, this is embarrassing actually, but if you're a veteran, if you can relate, reach out. I remember waking up and hearing gunshots and I was having auditory hallucinations and I didn't know it at the time. I called 911. My roommate wasn't home. The dog wasn't here. I was like, where is everybody? I was like in some weird state of mind. And so I called 911 and they came in the house. I had asked normal questions. And I think once they saw the uniform, they realized something that I didn't realize until after they left. It was 4th of July. and there was kids outside doing fireworks, and I was not used to hearing that. And so here I am, afraid, thinking like I went into like a zone. I was like hallucinating, like I was hearing gunshots. I was like in a war zone. And so that's where my mind went, and I called 911. And it wasn't until they left I guess came to, or like my senses came back 100%, and I was like, it's fucking 4th of July. God damn it, you fucking idiot.
Am I going to get a bill?
I was so embarrassed. I was like, these bitches are like, whoa, let's step back from this dude.
All right, you have golf cart Gail, and you have rocket Rene.
Raunchy rocket Rene.
Raunchy rocket Rene.
I felt so bad. I'm glad they didn't find my toys, girl.
Girl, man, I'm telling you.
Oh.
It's crazy. It's just like your dreams. Like it's funny because when I got out the military for a while, I was having issues with like reveille. And
God.
I would
What's
hear
reveille?
it
Tell
like,
everybody.
Girl, it's just like, it's hell. For me, it was like hell.
It's when they basically come in and fuck shit up and wake you up.
Yeah.
It could be a bell like it is in movies. No, it's them in your face, tossing you, throwing your bed, screaming.
Cymbals crashing over your head. It was just like
God.
crazy. So for me, like, even though it was like I was beyond that, like when I was coming back to civilian life, even though it wasn't that long, it wasn't years, it was more like months, it was still like some days I would wake up hearing it in my head, and I would just like jump out of bed, and like I would panic, like my heart would be like beating really fast, and and my anxiety would rise, and I'd sit back and I'd be like, bitch, it's Saturday and everybody in my house is sleeping. I just woke everybody the fuck up. And I like look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my, what's fucking wrong with you? But I'd be dreaming and it'd just be like, oh my God, it's time to get up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, man. It's just, I just can't, like, it's just hard, like, dissecting dreams, but it's even more difficult having to like live a dream. Like you can live it to the point where if a dream is so good, like my dreams can be so good, like the dream is over, but I'm in my bed like maybe it'll just come back.
Oh, mine can be like I have some good ones, but I mean I've had some scarier ones where like I physically felt stuff. And I guess due to the sexual assault for a while, like I would wake up and see shadows around me, and like I think that was during like the deepest part of my therapeutic sessions where my brain was processing all these like memories. And so they were manifesting in my sleep, and it was so surreal and so scary. Have you ever had a dream where you really drew meaning from immediately, or maybe told the future or something, like something weird off the wall like that?
I do have moments where I have like not necessarily premonitions, but they're precursors to things that are to come. Little signs. Like,
what's yours?
Like what I see?
Yeah. Like, so my mom, if she dreams about her mother stirring a pot, someone's about to die. And that's actually what she dreamed when. So I hit a semi going 100 miles per hour like 3 years ago. And she said she dreamed that the night before, but she didn't think it would be me. She didn't think of it until she heard the news that I was in the hospital. So do you have anything like that?
The cricket. It's like a cricket-looking monster, and as it gets closer, it kind of hops and it jumps really big in my face. That typically means something big is going to come.
Oh, wow. Good or bad?
Either or.
Oh, okay.
So like for me, when I had it, it was again being diagnosed with HIV, and then I'd have it again when I had my first major breakup, and then I had it again when I found out my labs for other reasons. But you know, little things like that. Every time I see it, and it's been a long time since I've seen that cricket. Now I want to see it tonight and be like, what the fuck? But I haven't seen it in a long time, and that means something good. It's like where I'm at peace. Everything is fine. Everything is going well. But it's stressful when I have dreams like, girls, like if you work in a truck and you have a dream that like your truck gets cut in half, it's like, girl, you don't want to have to do that. And then you have to go to work in a truck for the next like 4 weeks, and like with that in the back of your head, it's like, girl, today I was on a plane and the plane like hit turbulence, and I was like,
oh Lord.
And the girl was like, oh, you all right? I'm like, girl, I need to just sit down and have some water.
I'm falling right now.
I was like, girl, is it happening? Is it happening? This is not where I was sitting at when this happened. This is not what the light was outside when this was happening. This wasn't even the right fucking plane. What the fuck? And I'm like, and that just mental health is real. And I think I think we really need to sit back, and this is maybe another episode, but we seriously need to sit down and have discussions about it, because you can see a therapist like every single day. You can be medicated. Yeah. However, some days are good, just like with anything. Some days are good, but definitely with mental health, you can have fantastic fucking days where it's great, everything is going perfect, and then you can have a day where like you can be on speed dial, like you can be sitting in the therapist's office and it's just like it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working. It's not successful. Everything has gone to shit. Everything that you built up to have as a support structure or a form of like comfortability, like let's say in your home, has just failed you and you don't feel safe in your home. You don't feel
Right.
comfortable in your home. You don't feel like you could talk to anybody. I think that's kind of the caveat of dealing with like dreams and dealing with like dreams that are very stressful,
Right.
is the fact that like you have to also realize for folks who aren't dealing with these things is that it's very much tied to mental health, in my opinion.
Okay. No, it 100% is, and I'm a testament to that, obviously. I've also...
Fireworks.
Yeah. Excuse me, they're shooting out my window. They're shooting drive-by. Sir, it's 4th of July. It's a firecracker. Do you see Timmy down the road right there?
Okay, like
You see Timmy? You see him playing?
they're like, all right, well, we'll just stay outside your house and like patrol around the neighborhood.
Meanwhile, the kids are just taunting me.
Okay, like
He thought it was guns.
light it up.
Start throwing fireworks at my house.
Man, good thing they didn't know that, because you'd be like in your closet not coming out for days.
Shit, I hid in the closet. That's how bad it was.
Was that bad?
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. No, but
Did we know each other then?
Yeah, you were in New York though, I think.
It's recent?
This was like in 2016.
Oh, so I was flying. I was probably
Yeah.
in New York. Oh, girl, if I was home, I would be like, girl, let me know, drive. I'm coming down the road right now.
Yeah. I've had some like weird dreams where like I've been able, things come true, I guess, or like I've been able to like premonitions, I guess. It's always happened with family members. But most recently, like I have a weird connection with my mom. It's not weird. I keep saying the word weird when I talk about my spirituality and everything, but I shouldn't hold judgment to it or pass judgment on it. I have a very strong connection, and it's so strong that I remember this was the one when I was awake. I was driving somewhere with my father, and I kind of just leaned my head on the window of the car, and I felt as if I crashed, and I was in the passenger seat with my mom and her car, and I was like, something's wrong, and I looked at my dad. I was too scared. I was like, he didn't believe in spirituality, like, but I felt something real. So we did whatever we had to do, and I come home, and my mom's like sitting on the couch, and she's like frigid, like can't move, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she was like, I was in a car accident, and it was exactly where I dreamed it was. And she didn't have her cell phone because she forgot it that day, and she couldn't speak English very well. So here they had these group of people are like accusing her as her fault, and she didn't know what to say. She was just dumbfounded, and so I was able to have that like slight premonition just from nodding off. But the most recent one was almost a year and a half ago when she traveled to El Salvador, and I woke up crying because she had a heart attack. And I called El Salvador. I was like, get me my mom. Like, I thought it was for real. Like, something happened. And she had, like, food poisoning. But, like, it's, like, that's how much of a connection. And there's another instance, but, like, dreams can sometimes be very surreal.
They are. Because
Yeah.
I have a twin sister. And
Oh, yeah. Patty has a twin.
I do have a twin. And we are very much like that. There are plenty of times where, like, I call her because it's off, and I'm like, girl, what's going on? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, no, what's going on? She's like, I don't feel good. Like, I'm having my period or something. And it's like, I get those feelings. Like, girl, when she was dealing with issues, I was dealing with them.
Right.
So when she was stressed out, fussing at my mom, I was irritated at my mom.
That's so
or
funny.
if I had a really bad, like, so recently I was just really down. I was like kind of dealing with, again, my depression, and she called me. She was like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And I was like, I'm okay. Like, I'm just dealing with like my depression. And she's like, okay, I just had a feeling that something was just really wrong, and I just had to call you. And that really made my day. It kind of uplifted me.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing to do with like medication. It was nothing to do with like, it was just her calling me, and it just, I knew she was there. Like,
Right.
I felt like she was there, which is what was calming me throughout
Right.
the day. But it was up until the fact that she called me, and she just reaffirmed that she knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been like that since kids. Like, as kids, I used to have a really bad speech impediment. No one could understand me, and she was the only one that could like comprehend what I was saying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so because of that, I think that is developed into us having a very great spiritual, emotional connection. So we don't have to talk for like weeks.
Right.
And basically it'll come down to like, she'll get a feeling and be like, what's going on? Like, I haven't heard from you, or are you all right? Or like, you feel like you're just anxious.
Yes.
And the thing is, like, I go to school at Strayer, so she works there. And so like a lot of times, like, she'll be tracking, she'll be like seeing how I'm doing with classes and stuff. And so when she sees kind of like me not talking to my advisor and stuff, like that kind of ticks her off. But like, usually she'll know when it's bad, and that's when she calls. And your siblings, sometimes you don't really have great connections like that
Yeah.
deep. And yeah, like I mean, we share a womb together, so obviously we're going to be sharing like our spirits together to some capacity.
Yeah, that's it must be cool having
it's
a
all
twin.
right. It's all right.
Yeah, because I think I've seen a picture of her, never seen her.
Yeah, she's here. Hold on.
I have not met y'all. Have known patty cakes for like what 5 years?
You haven't even met my family.
No, but when I met you, I think you were having some issues with your dad.
Girl, yeah. What's new?
So, but I've never met your sister, and I've known you since 2012.
But the thing is, like, she's always been in and out of North Carolina. So, like, for instance, now she lives in North Carolina. So, like, every time she's up here, like, we're not connecting. Like, you're doing something, but we do have to go do hookah or like do a hookah session or something at some point because you really do have to meet her. You have to meet my family too because they're good people and like they know you.
And you've met my family.
Girl, yeah. We went out to Wapples.
Yeah, like you met my entire. We were coming from London.
Yep.
You're actually coming from London. You treated me for my birthday, and it was so awesome. I got a day in London, everybody. Got
more than a day in London.
No, the doctor would agree.
Ooh, okay, on that note, continue, please. Thank you.
So we had just landed from London, and my family from LA was visiting, and it wasn't just like typical, just an aunt here and uncle there. No, it was like 16 people.
It was a whole damn family.
Yeah, like everybody came from the West Coast to come to the East Coast to kind of say hi. And Guapos in Shirlington is probably the closest thing to good LA Mexican food you're going to get to here in this area. And so we took them there, and they approved. So yeah, so I was very happy with that. But yeah, you walked into like a full-fledged family reunion.
Girl, and no English.
No.
I was like, hola. No, I'm just joking.
My mom still remembers you, actually.
Good.
So, yeah, she still remembers you. She'll ask about you every now and then.
I'm like,
I'm like, that bitch is fat.
Girl, I was fat when I was sitting there eating. I was like, can you pass a guap, please? Thank you.
Sorry, that's your third bowl.
I like the burritos too. Are y'all having more chimichurris? I'm so fucking fat. I can't.
Chimichurris, that's Brazilian. It's churros.
Churros.
Chimichurri's a sauce, you asshole. That's like 10 countries away, girl.
Girl.
I'm going to try making that, actually.
This episode is sponsored by Cultural Appropriation.
You never will get it right.
You just never get it right.
Exactly. Someone will always be offended.
Someone will always be trying to like do something that has nothing to do with your culture.
Exactly. Like,
but what I
Chewy's.
can do is make a mean kimchi. That's what I can do.
Oh, I have some.
Yeah, but
No, he thought about it.
I did. I was looking for it yesterday. But the thing is, like, I make my own kimchi. Like, I've learned and I've really like mastered the art. So like, it's a process. So literally for me, prepping the kimchi and basically getting it to the right kind of texture takes about like 3 days.
Yeah.
And from there, like just fermenting it and making sure that it has like, not even fermenting, that's like the second to the last step, but getting the right kind of spice and getting the right kind of like sweetness.
Yeah.
Mixed with like, cause it's like cabbage is not sweet. Cabbage is just like, I don't know, it's like cabbage. It's like it's a different texture.
It's a leaf that retains water.
Okay, literally. So you mix it with like a type of like vegetable that adds sweetness to it. Like I can't think of the type right now because it's just in my own little world. But you mix it with the spices and it ferments. Like it's for. I'll take a picture of it for the show notes. But it's
actually, did I save the video? I recently bought some and it was bubbling up so much.
That's the gas.
That I took it off. I was like, wait, is this supposed to happen? And then I looked at the lid and I was like, oh, bubbles may rise due to fermentation. Yeah. I'm like, oh, clearly attention to detail was thrown out the window as soon as I got out the military.
But it ferments. So like literally what you have to do is kind of like shuffle the lettuce around because what
does that say about you?
You know, my dad was like, you live a secret life. Like, you know, when you leave the house, you don't tell us about anything you're doing. And I'm like, because I'm gay and y'all don't like to know about my like ratchetness. Like, you don't want to know about me being at Cobalt getting drunk at like 5 a.m. and then finding my way to like Annie's eating steak. And then from there, taking myself home to lay down for 3 hours and getting up and having mimosas and then going back out later. Or you don't want to know about me like laying down like having like fellatio with my husband. Like, you don't want to know that. Like, this is, or like, you don't want to know about me. Like, I'm boring. Like, this is the thing. I go to work. I come home. I ask my husband to scratch my back. He rubs my feet. You know, we eat, we smoke hookah, and I play video games.
Across the living room. Like, rub my legs. My legs hurt. And he's like, legs in the air, just like, that's why they hurt, bitch. You've been holding them up for 3 hours, asking your husband to rub them the fuck out. How about you put your legs down? These ain't your twink days.
We have to bring him on the show because it's like funny because we've almost been married for 2 years, and there's like, it's weird. Like, I don't know if anybody else that listens is married, but for me, there's been a level of dependency that I have on my husband for basic shit. Like, I can't, like, I have T-Rex arms, so I can't reach my back, right? But I used to always have like a back scratcher, right? So I have no fucking flexibility at all.
Yeah.
So like with my little T-Rex hands, I realized that, well, why use your T-Rex hands to try to attempt to scratch your back or even do the bear scratch on the wall and like have acne stains of blood all over your shirts and shit. Anyway, so I found out that my husband doesn't mind scratching my back, and it feels so good, like from the top.
Then you were like, well,
bottom.
let me try everything. Can you get my legs?
Then he like rubs my feet, because the thing is, like, I stand all, and he does too. Like, we work in jobs where we stand all day long. We're on our feet a lot, like, you know, and it's hard to come home and like we give each other massages. Like, I'm really dependent on the fact that, like,
that's such a healthy thing to do.
But it's good. It's like he's my best friend.
Yeah.
And being married for almost 2 years has been up and down, but I think the most important aspect of it is the fact that, like, I don't see a life without him, because basic shit like scratching my own fucking back when I'm on a trip and I'm like gone to like London, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what the back scratcher doesn't feel right. Like, or like even just like laying next to somebody at night, like we don't sleep. Like when I'm flying on a trip and I'm not with him, I'm like an insomniac. I don't sleep.
Yeah, he told me like he'll stay up with you while you are falling asleep because somehow you fall asleep with him on the phone.
Yeah, I can't. His like, he's like my soulmate. But that's why this job has been more difficult to the point. And the thing is, like, I will say this: I feel like in life, certain people may have soulmates and certain people may not.
Yeah.
I feel like, as well as in life, you may have a soulmate that's not ready to be your soulmate. They're not mature enough. They're not on a level that may be able to deal with your complexities, or it's just not meant to be. Like sometimes, like how like the world works and how kind of like the universe places things, like you would be perfect soulmates. It's just not the right time. And so what I feel like with Omar is that we fell in each other's lap at the same time. Like when he needed to kind of be in a position to be more empowered and be able to make more decisions, he showed up. And then when I needed to be able to be more grounded and start the process of like being less selfish and being more selfless and being more committed to something, not just a project, not just like, just committed. And I'm not saying like committed to marriage or just a commitment, because I've had issues with commitment in the past with a project or with homework or with school, or, you know, and to be able to focus in on like just being committed to something, it has just evolved into like this fantastic relationship. We talk about everything. He'll know when I'm up to something that I have no business being up to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but not even that. Look, I could be like swiping the card. Well, no, he tracks the card. It could be like I could be at home, like I'm gonna clean today, and I could be like just laying there, like, you know, just like doing shit, and he'll be like, he'll just call me on FaceTime and give me a look, and I'm like, damn, he knows, or I know, like I need to get my ass up. Like it's just we've developed a relationship where like we have relied on each other, and I've never had that in 30 years on this earth with another human being. And I think from being a military child to transitioning and finding out that like when you really hit shit like your diagnosis, or you hit like knowing that you're dealing with PTSD and you start to lose friends and people that you thought were going to be there for you.
Yeah.
When you really find a good one like Omar, like you don't let that person go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true.
We're just talking.
Yeah, we're just talking for this. I kind of like this episode. I started it off as like a Dreamland episode because it just came into my mind and I knew it would evolve into something, because obviously dreams are so beneficial for your health, or sometimes they could scare the shit out of you.
You're the shit. Girl, one night I was dreaming, I don't know what I was dreaming about, and I was smiling. And you know, you get a feeling that like something is like the hairs on your arms and your body stands up. So one side of my body had all stood up, and I kind of cracked my eye, and Omar was like looking at me with his big old eyes.
Yeah. And
I kind of like jumped back, and he was like, who the fuck are you thinking about? And I was like, what? And he was like, who the fuck are you smiling about in your dream? Who are you mumbling about? And I'm like, huh? And he's like, you better not be thinking about nobody else. It better be me. And I was like, oh, good night. So dreams can also get you into trouble.
Yeah, apparently. Shit.
Man, another episode, another time. But
with that said, as Patrick takes a selfie, this was a experimental episode, but it was really cool. Dreamlands and
That's an ugly pimple.
With that said, remember to continue to follow us. We're trying to grow on iTunes. So follow us. We're on everything, obviously. At the Squishee Sandwich website. We'll have show notes. And I'll post some of the books that I've read over dreams that have actually been pretty beneficial to me. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Dreamscapes and Sake, because I sure as hell did a shit ton of sake shots. So catch you next time in the next episode, and look out for the launch of a online retail shop for one of my friends. #Sophista Chic.
Sophista Chic.
9 tonight.
9 tonight.
For the woman in you. Or if you're a woman, it's for you bitches.
For the working woman, Sophista Chic.
Sophista Chic, girl, yes.
See, I can't stand you.
All right.